say, as a great many Australians say, who at this moment are probably watching The Block, they always say, I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do the dawn service so I could say, lest we forget. But I'm here to tell all of you, you forgot. And we have not forgotten. We do forget some things. We forget the beauty and the power and the passion of the Spirit that floods through our veins. We forget how amazing we are as a nation. We forget how amazing our sovereign nations people are. We forget everything they can teach us because we're too busy trying to dig ourselves in a bog we've got ourselves into. And we forget that in World War I, when the Germans were running over the top of everything that opposed them for 3 years, we forget that when the Spring Offensive occurred in 1918, they stormed the Allied lines and they forced them back to the sea, or that was the intent. And the British General Haig said, withdraw the troops from the front line. Bring the troops back to the coast and we shall defend the coast or go home to England. And General Monash says, what? Australian General Sir John Monash said, are you kidding me? Anyhow, he said, yeah, nah. And the word got to the front line in a town called Villers-Bretonneux. And the order was given. They want us to go to the coast. And a couple of privates looked at each other and they said, did we come all the way from Ballarat to do that? And they said, nah. So as they started the retreat, they said, no way. We got the longest bayonets in the world. We're going back to take these mongrels on. And the general in command of American forces, General Pershing, was overly cautious. For 18 months his troops were there and he wouldn't put them into battle because he wanted them to be trained. He was scared to lose one of them. And on the other end of the scale you had General Haig, who treated them like used matchsticks. 60,000 dead in the trenches a day was nothing to General Haig, but to General Monash it was a shocking crime. And General Monash wanted to win with the least amount of casualties, and that's what he did. So when all the troops were withdrawing, there was a detachment of American soldiers amongst the Aussies at Villers-Bretonneux who were ordered to go back to their American base. And when they said, we're not leaving our Aussie brothers, they took off their American uniforms and they put on the diggers' uniforms. And outnumbered 40 to 1, they went back to Villers-Bretonneux and they pushed them back into Germany. We forget that spirit lives in us. We forget that spirit lives in you. And you demonstrate it by turning up. That's what they did, they turned up. And we forget that they were the first army to defeat and turn back the Germans in the First World War, and the Germans never won a battle after that.